All right, let's get right into it. If you've ever stared at a draft email, hesitating to hit send to someone you look up to, this is for you. We're about to completely rewire that whole process and, honestly, delete that hesitation for good.
You know, this quote just hits it right on the head. We get so wrapped up in the fear of being ignored, that little sting of rejection. But what's the alternative? The real terror should be staying invisible, stuck in the exact same spot a year from now. That's way scarier than one person not replying to an email.
And this slide, this is the entire mindset shift we're talking about today. For way too long, we've thought about networking as asking for time, asking for advice, asking for a favor. We're tossing that idea in the trash. From this moment on, your entire focus is on adding value, adding a solution, adding something useful to their world.
So first, let's break down why that old way just doesn't work. It's what we call the transactional trap. It's when you approach a busy, successful person like they're a vending machine. You're just there to get something. When you lead with a request, you're basically asking them to stop what they're doing and solve your problem. That doesn't make you a colleague. It makes you a chore.
So here it is, the big idea. We are completely flipping the script. You are not a petitioner begging for a quick coffee chat or to pick their brain. No, starting right now, you are a provider. You're the person who shows up with a solution in hand, not a problem to be solved.
Okay, let's make this real, right now. Think of that one person you want to connect with. Now, go look at their LinkedIn, their Twitter, their blog. What's a small frustration they've mentioned recently? A tiny bottleneck in their process, a question they ask their audience. See that? That's it. That's your way in.
All right, let's talk about the big monster in the room, the fear of hearing no, or, just hearing crickets. Most of us see that as a failure, a big red stop sign, but we're going to completely redefine what that means.
This is the new formula. Rejection is not about your worth. It has nothing to do with you personally. It's just data. Every ignored email is just a piece of feedback that says, hey, try a different angle, or refine your offer a little bit. It's a compass pointing you in a new direction, not a judge handing down a sentence.
Let's really hammer this home. Think about rejection as the ticket you have to buy to become the next version of yourself. It's proof that you're in the game, that you're trying. You can't level up without paying this price. And honestly, it's a price that is worth paying every single time.
And really, this is what it all comes down to. If the thought of a no makes you nervous, let the thought of being in the exact same place in your career a year from now, let that absolutely terrify you into action. That's the real risk here. Inaction is the only thing that guarantees failure.
Okay, so our mindset is right. We're not afraid of rejection anymore. But now you're probably thinking, okay, but what value do I actually have to offer someone at that level? And that's where this amazing tool, the Value First Audit, comes into play.
And let me just say this right now. That little voice in your head is wrong. You absolutely have more to offer than you think. The issue isn't a lack of value. The issue is that you're looking at your own skills through a filter of insecurity. We're going to take that filter off.
Here's how we do it. The audit is so simple, it's brilliant. First column, you list a skill you probably take for granted, like, say, being good at research. Second column, you name the asset behind it, your time, your focus. But that third column, that's where the magic happens. You translate it into a problem you solve for them. So you don't just do research, you save them 5 hours of digging. You don't just edit videos, you make their message more impactful. See? This is how you find your hidden value.
So you found your value. Now it's time to actually give it to them. And how you do this is absolutely everything. This is the no strings approach, and I'm telling you, it's the most powerful and most counterintuitive part of this entire strategy.
The rules are simple. 1, be specific. Don't say, let me know if I can help. Send them the finished thing. 2, make it easy for them. Send something they can literally use or understand in 30 seconds. And 3, the most important rule of all, expect absolutely nothing back.
This right here is the game changer. 0% expectation. When you send value with no expectation of a reply, no thank you, no future favor, all the pressure just evaporates. You're not asking for anything, you're not putting them on the spot, you're just showing up and being useful.
And this is the incredible shift that happens. You go from being another random name in their inbox to an immediate potential collaborator. Why? Because you didn't just tell them you were valuable, you showed them. You proved you're the kind of person who gets things done.
So, what's the long-term result of operating this way? Well, it's not just about getting better at networking. You fundamentally change who you are in your field. You stop being a spectator in the stands, and you get onto the field to play the game.
Look, it's super comfortable to just watch from the sidelines, right? But sending that no-strings email, that's you stepping into the arena. That's you deciding that the chance to contribute is worth the risk of being ignored. And that decision, right there, is where all real growth begins.
It really all comes down to this simple 3-step mantra. And the first step is the biggest. You just have to show up. That means you stop thinking about it, you stop planning it, and you actually do it. You do the audit, find the problem, and send the email. You take action.
Then comes the second step. You readjust. So what if your first attempt gets you silence? You don't quit, you don't take it personally, you take it as feedback, you tweak your approach, and you try again from a different angle. This isn't about being annoying, it's about being relentless in your commitment to add real value.
And finally, as a natural result of showing up and readjusting, you rise. This isn't just a hopeful wish, it's the inevitable outcome. When you consistently show up as someone who solves problems, you build a reputation. And pretty soon, you're no longer asking for a seat at the table. You're too busy building your own.
So I'm going to leave you with this one final thought. This isn't homework for next week or something to do when you feel ready. The chance to add value, to show up for someone, is right there in front of you right now. So the only real question is, whose problem will you solve today?